Great Lent, a favorable time. Great Lent is like a favorable time for repentance, to return to God and be renewed by the fire of His love. The beginning of Great Lent is like the first steps of a beginner. Great Lent is like a fertile land, which is gradually discovered by those who enter into fasting, and opens the way to vigilance, tolerance, and forgiveness. At its root lies gluttony, a cult of one's own belly and mind. These cause a dead and lost human being, the opposite of stability and abstinence. These two activities point to an inner abstinence, activities of the heart, and bind all external hostilities and passions, making this person a liberated, free person. But beware of overconfidence, namely trusting in ourselves. Vigilance diminishes, and the inner life is like a house without a guard. Paul admonishes the Romans against gluttony, the fight against all forms of gluttony: food, lust, affectation, know-it-all attitude, overconfidence, judging and condemning. To the Romans he says, "Who are you to judge the servant of another?" This battle creates a void in men, turning our mind into a desert where all thoughts come to rest and calm down. Do not strike the weak, says Paul. The strong and the weak. Who is the weak? Who is the strong? The Lord ate at the table of the tax collectors and the adulterous women, of the apostates, the unworthy in soul and body, and who is not unworthy? By sitting at table with them, the Lord drew all people to reverence and love for the Father. Through physical food, He brings all closer to spiritual matters. The meal is not intended to satisfy the body and distance us from God, but to promote tolerance. The meal is a means, not an end, a means to save others and so ourselves. And Matthew calls on Christians coming from Judaism to forgive. Very difficult in a time of a very legalistic religion, of commandments and prohibitions towards Jews and non-Jews. If we cannot forgive, it is futile and vain to begin fasting. Saint Gregory of Nyssa writes that forgiveness in the Our Father is the highest and most necessary thing to elicit the Master's favor. And Gregory continues, "How else will you pray? How will you receive mercy from the Master? You who can never give anything." Forgiving debts used to mean also cancelling a material debt. This forgiveness, prior to the Great Lent, gives us a clear conscience and forgiveness for our mistakes, weaknesses, moments of disappointment and denial, and any form of failure. Moreover, Paul says, "Do you know the time in which we live? It is time to wake up from sleep. With fasting, the night of our lives should come to an end, and the day of the Lord and for the Lord should dawn. Let us die to all forms of greed for body and soul, remembering the words of Luke. Blessed are the servants whom the Lord will find awake when he returns.